Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Uninformed Fan. This is your boy Tyson. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. With me, as always, my good friend and colleague and the man with a mission, Jeffrey, who I guess I hate you this week.
It is rivalry week. It is hate week, but it's just tough to hate somebody over the other team when you're playing for absolutely nothing.
It is true. It is true. How was your turkey day, Jeffrey?
It was very brief because I had some turkey, I had some sides, I put the baby down for a nap, and I went straight to work. So I worked from 3 to like midnight. Fruitful, very blessed, highly favored. But yeah, just one of those things.
Better than going in and getting kicked in the balls, eh?
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah. I think anything might be better than going and getting kicked in the actual balls. So.
Sometimes, Jeff, you gotta look at the positives, and that's what we do here at the Uninformed Fan. We just continue to look at the positives, except for when our teams are playing and we're analyzing our teams. It's very tough to look for the positives. Yeah, I didn't do anything for Thanksgiving except for just sit around.
Your parents are here now, right?
So. Yeah, they got here now. We're going to do a nice dinner tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to do the full feast. That way, no sense eating in the middle of a Bears game. You never know. Will you throw it up? Will you just get obliviously drunk and not be able to take it? There's a lot of emotions that happen on a Bears football game, and let alone a football game that is completely by itself against a team that we should probably get mopped with the floor with. So we shall see. We shall see.
We'll see if you guys can stop the run. If you can stop the run and kind of go from there, then I think that'll be a big.
Well, let's get in. Let's recap Thanksgiving here before we get into the Black Friday game. Good morning, Justice. Welcome in. The Packers 31, Lions 24. This was an interesting game. I will say again, this is probably only the second game that I've watched Green Bay in its completion, and they looked a lot better than the previous one that I watched. I can't remember who they played. But they look pretty good. However, the Detroit Lions, to me, Jeff, just seem completely discombobulated. Like they've almost lost their identity. Now, I get it. Dan Campbell going for it on fourth down. Don't mind those types of things. Sometimes you do have to take the points, and I do believe that the last one on this one was definitely one that you needed to take the points, make it a one-score game. But, obviously Amon-Ra going down in the first quarter doesn't help anybody unless you're playing him in fantasy. Shout out to Joe. Hopefully you pull out Gigantor. Hopefully you pull off the upset against Sonny, who between Josh Jacobs and Amon-Ra St. Brown put up 1.5 points. Shout out to Gigantor. I believe in you. 40 for you, so I believe. But, yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's the same Lions. And, we're going to talk about some other teams here. But, we saw it week 1 where they played the Green Bay Packers, got absolutely decimated. We said that's a week 1 thing. They kind of got their footing back weeks 4. They kind of cruised through some of them. But now it just seems like they're regressing back to what we saw earlier in the season. It just doesn't seem to me like they have a pure identity. Do you want to run the ball? David Montgomery had some great flashes. Obviously, we saw what Jahmyr Gibbs did the last week. But then Jared Goff has just been terrible.
Yeah, I've been a Lions fader this entire year. Same with the Bills. I've been fading the Bills for I think 2 years now. But I think the Packers are legitimately a better team. I thought Jordan Love looked so comfortable and so poised the entire game. You never saw panic on him whatsoever. They matriculated the ball down the field over and over and over again. Every time Detroit would come down and score, they came down and they answered right away. And so this game just seemed like it was continuously a 10-point spread or game the entire time. Shout out to the Packers. Huge win, huge divisional win. Obviously, next week you're going to get the Bears. And so we'll see how that works out, because that's going to be really important for the division as well, too. And so, yeah, I mean, great job for Jordan Love and the Packers. And he's doing it, without some of his best weapons. I mean, the throw that he makes there on 4th down, getting hit, and Dontavius Wicks goes up and makes the catch to basically ice the game. Chef's kiss. That's what it was the entire game. So what it was the entire game. The entire game, you just saw Jordan Love standing tall in the pocket, calm, cool, collected, delivering the ball where he needed to. Throws for 4 touchdowns. Can't say enough about him. Great job. Josh Jacobs did get a little banged up here. You saw him leave for a little bit with a knee injury and then come back in for some goal line work, which they ended up not getting anyway. But just something to monitor as well, too, because, do they want to take –
he was also dinged up coming into this game.
Right, with a knee, and it was the same thing. It was the same thing, the same knee injury that he hurt against, I believe it was the Giants when they played out there in New York at MetLife, which seems to tear everybody up, unfortunately. So,
well, unlike the other sports talks, we do cover other games other than the Chiefs and the Cowboys, but this is our time slot allotted for the Chiefs and the Cowboys. Apparently, this morning when I watched the Big Head and the big news is that's just all anybody wants to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys, and rightfully so at this point. I don't think anybody wants to face this Dallas Cowboys. I'm very happy that the Bears got them very early in the season, because they are a team that is absolutely a force to reckon with. Take down the Chiefs 28-31. Cowboys rolling, Chiefs crumbling. It's just one of those things we continue to say is, when is Patrick going to do Patrick things? He had an amazing play scramble where he hits Rashee Rice down there for 35 yards towards the end. But at the end of the day, it's just not enough. And I think it's time to start squarely looking at possibly both of these teams not making it. But the Cowboys obviously need to win out. They've done what they need to do. That defense is much better. George Pickens playing out of his mind. Dak Prescott playing at a high level. And the Chiefs, again, it's just one of those things. The previous season, they were like 5-1 in one possession games. I do believe now they're 1-6.
Yep.
They were never a team last year that just blew people out of the water. They just got those last minute games, and it's just not going for them this way. Defense is still ranked in the top 5. Offense is still, I do believe, in the top 5 as well. However, they're just not able to put it together for 4 quarters to blow anybody out, which they haven't done for years, but they got those 1-score games. Now, on the other side, the Cowboys, Jeff, I don't think anybody wants to see the Cowboys come in. They just knocked off both Super Bowl teams from last year in consecutive weeks after being down to both. Nobody wants to play the Dallas Cowboys right now.
I do apologize. I have a little bit of a cold this morning. Obviously, the changing of the weather has just been diabolical for me. I've gone from Boston being freezing. Here we arrive, it's 80 degrees. Now we're back to a high of like 60 today. Then we go right back to 78 tomorrow. So fun times down here. If you're struggling like I am, then shout out to you. This game, another one. I love the Cowboys. We talked about that stat of teams that play overtime games, then now traveling on the road to play on a short week. It's really not good for those teams. And Dallas being at home kind of benefited from that, I felt like. Dak is, in my opinion, having an MVP type season. He's been incredible this year, regardless of what you want to say. Mahomes, to me, it's just the fact of like they can't just sit there and throw the ball every single play. They you have to be able to have some semblance of a run game. You have to have some kind of a threat when it comes to that. The defense has not been the same. I don't know what's going on with Spags, but that back end has not been great as well too. You saw Pickens and CeeDee Lamb both have great games as well, and Yeah, it just kind of is what it is here. This will be an interesting test coming up this week, though, because this Dallas-Detroit game next week that's going to be going down is going to be extremely, extremely important. And so that'll be really interesting to see the way that plays out. Also, it's still objectively hilarious to me that Jerry built this huge stadium, and then on every single 4:00 game that they play, the sun gets in the receiver's eyes because of the way that it's designed, and you still have not fixed it.
There is curtains. They just don't close them.
It's absolutely insane to me. And you see players complain about it every single game. They're like, I lost the ball in the sun. I don't know what we're doing inside right now, and I'm losing the ball in the fucking sun. So yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up for just a second, Jeffrey, because I need to get on my soapbox here for just a second. Again, as I watched Jared Goff outside over the past few weeks, this, that, and the other, and just what one last plea to the Chicago Bears: we don't need a dome. You don't need a dome. You can see the advantage that you have in some of these things, man. Obviously, the advantage of the Cowboys, you need to make sure you're going in the right direction, right? Now that one could be up to the coin flip. I agree with you. I just don't see I don't see why you would ever put windows on a westerly facing stadium. That to me should be north-south. Right? I don't know why you would put windows east-west on any type of stadium. But yeah, to your point, I mean, just the whole design's trash. I mean, the stadium is beautiful, obviously. The scoreboard that gets interfered with half the time by kickers.
Right.
It's just while it was a beautifully well-designed stadium, it was also not a beautifully well-designed stadium. But at the end of the day, they're winning, and that's all that you can say for the Cowboys. They're keeping their hopes alive as they are sitting in. Let me see. I was just going to bring this up real quick before I just got hit with a sudden wave of tiredness. 6-5-1 now. And, you're 2 games back, right? 2 games back from the Eagles, which is kind of wild to say when you came through this. And let's see what their schedule is for the remaining here.
Lions, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, and then Giants.
So a little bit disappointment there. You don't have any more divisional. Well, no, you have Commanders and Giants in the division. But unfortunately, your time against the Eagles has been over. All winnable games. We'll see what happens with the Lions. This is back at home. It's going to be a huge game because let's be honest, the way things are going, if Detroit loses another game at home, they're going to be sitting at 7-6, and they're going to be looking squarely on the outside of this playoff picture, coming up against the Rams, the Steelers, who will both be fighting for their lives. Those 2 tough games, the Vikings, and guess who they play the very final game of the year, Jeffrey?
Chicago Bears.
In Chicago.
Yep.
I mean,
good luck golf in Chicago weather.
Yeah, but you want to build a dome, right? And just give Jared Goff back.
Well, I think that every team should be playing in a dome, but that's just my own. I think there should be an even playing field. I don't want to have to factor in weather and field and turf and different things over and over again, but whatever.
That's football. The nightcap game was quite a thriller here, Jeffrey. The Cincinnati Bengals going to Baltimore 32-14. I did roll out Joe Burrow on fantasy. Little nervous, obviously, when I started it. But at the end of the day,
gets 2 touchdowns.
You said on the pre-show, obviously Daniel Jones is not 100%, and he's also going up against the Houston Texans team. Joe Burrow has owned the Baltimore Ravens and that defense, so I figured let's just roll it out there. Yeah, you're right. 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, 26 points. Can't complain.
No.
Okay, serviceable. Just makes me wonder if I would have had him for the 9 games, where my team would be sitting at. But I think the point here, Jeff, is once again the Ravens. The Ravens are bad, dude.
Yep.
They're bad. And we keep talking every week about when are they going to put it all together. I think it's time to look it right in the face and say they're not going to put it together. This team is done.
Thank you. Thank you for finally coming to my side that I've been preaching for.
But they're not done yet, Jeffrey. Not so fast.
Lamar just has looked like a shell of himself. I was talking about this actually on our group that we have for fantasy football. It's just there's times when Lamar gets outside the pocket and he would always pick up 5 or 6 yards every single time because he cut the corner, and the defensive end was never getting to him. And now the defensive end and linebackers are getting to him, and he's not even picking up 1 or 2 yards. It's just a straight speed out that he's running out of bounds. that little half a step is really what's mattered. Yeah, I know he's been banged up all year. We mentioned he'd been on the injury report the entire year. We mentioned that the Bengals have been playing much better defense the last 3 or 4 weeks. We mentioned that Chase Brown is finally running the ball better, and that finally, now with Burrow behind there, that it's going to be a little bit easier for him to find some running lanes. Guess what? Chase Brown ran the ball well. They had a great balance with Samaje Perine as well, too. They averaged 4 yards a carry against the Baltimore Ravens. Jamar Chase, who came out, had 7 catches for 110 yards. Looked great. And, you know, at the end of the day, it just looked like the Bengals wanted it more than the Ravens. And that's tough to say, especially being on Thanksgiving at home if you're a Baltimore fan. It just looked like this team was disinterested. I don't know if the Harbaugh voice has left the locker room. I don't know if that might be in play as well. It's not great out there in Baltimore right now. It's just it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like it's, you know, there's any continuity or any trust and belief with each other. Really, really tough. 5 turnovers,
definitely,
ridiculous.
Definitely hard to overcome 5 turnovers in a game. To your point, though, this was also without Trey Hendrickson, and this was also without their first round pick. What's his name? I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but he didn't play as well.
Don't worry about it.
And this was also no T. Higgins on the offensive side.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that the Baltimore Ravens should have lost this football game, and yet here we are. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, though, you know, a lot of people coming out, especially over some of the calls this week, and, you know, obviously Chiefs fans finally not getting calls, complaining. You finally know what it's like.
Ironic.
You're not getting sympathy from anyone.
It was so funny on one of my group texts, and I there's a bunch of Eagles fans on there, and they're all like, "See, they just want the Cowboys to yada yada yada." And I'm like, "Are you really complaining about the Chiefs not getting called? That's how much your bias and fandom is swinging you right now. That you're complaining that." And first of all, I thought it was the right call to pick it up, but whatever. We don't even need to get into it. But just now we're complaining that the Chiefs aren't getting enough calls.
Well, I will say this.
Insane.
I will say this. If you're looking at it from a perspective of the NFL is scripted, which a lot more people are leaning to, correct?
Yeah.
You know, there's been players that have come out. A former Bears running back said it was scripted. When you go into that mindset that the NFL is scripted and you watch a football game with the basis of it scripted, bro, it is hard not to buy into that 100%. When you see some of these quarterbacks that just make absolute laser beam throws, and then all of a sudden with no pressure, they just airmail somebody. Yeah. You know, it's just one of those things in the back of my mind. I'm like,
You know what else is interesting as well too about this, and obviously, you know, the Bengals are 4-8, and so that is, you know, going to be tough. But their schedule going forward: Bills, Ravens again, Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. They can win all those games potentially with the way
they can still win the division. 100%. They can still win the division. 100%
see them at 9-8, finishing this year above 500.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely wild, absolutely wild, and that's why a lot of people talk about, well, why is Joe Burrow coming back? Well, there you go, there it is, because there's still a hope. And honestly, I put that out in the group chat. I don't know if you saw the interview with Joe since you were working, but the reporter asked him, "Why are you back? Why are you playing? You know, your team's essentially out of the playoffs." He said, "I get paid a lot of money to play a kid's sport, and a lot of people come spend their money to see me. I need to be on that field." And I'll tell you what, it was just like the Grinch, right? My heart just blew up like 8 times towards Joey B. I'm like,
he's also on your fantasy football team, so you're like, you're
that's
also...
why he's on my fantasy team. That's why he's on my fantasy, because he's got heart. He's got heart for the fans.
You only draft the dogs, you know?
Yeah, he's got that MJ mentality. Absolutely right. I mean, after hearing that, if you can't, I mean, yeah, Joey B, he's the man. He'll
MJ
always
mentality.
be the man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No, not Jesus. Jesus Christ had a different mentality.
Not really
similar to Michael Jordan.
Hasn't retired 3 times, so.
And still hold all records. Anyway,
he does not hold all the records.
All of them, Jeff. All of them.
No.
Every record. Michael Jordan, number 1.
He's getting passed by somebody else. But
just the stat padding ones.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of which, before we move on real quick, did you see that this Tiger Woods thing? He's trying to come back next year.
At this point, I'm just.
But he's like because apparently he's tied with Sam Snead, I do believe, at 83 wins or something like that. One more win puts him over. Jeremy, am I right in that analogy? He's either tied or like one, but so like he really wants to get one more win to break that tie. So he is going to be targeting venues that he's basically never played before, like Hilton Head, some of the flat services, like literally the John Deere Classic, to try to scratch up that last win. The dog understands it. The dog gets it.
It just seems weird to me. Like, I don't think anybody in there who's an actual golf fan thinks that Tiger Woods is not the greatest golfer of all time. And so I don't think you need to come back in stat pad at all. But
well, I mean, I think golf is measured just kind of, on the same, I don't know, playing as NBA championships. And Nicklaus still has more majors. I mean, by what, 3, 4, Jeremy? I wish I knew that.
I think much like, listen, Jack was only playing against Arnie back in the day. And,
we're not doing this again.
I just don't think the competition.
The athletes are so much better. The athletes are so much better.
Everything that you get to put into it now.
The speed of golf is so much more intense.
Yeah, nobody was hitting the ball 350, 360. There was no Bryson out there,
No, there was more skill involved. More skill. More, I need to position my ball in this position.
Whatever you say.
Will be interesting. I mean, I'll give you talented wise, but you will never be able to convince me that man did not take steroids, and I think that is why his body is what it is. And yes, 100%, 100%. And also LeBron, you cannot tell me he's not on HGH or something, bro. Come on.
What do you mean they test for it? He would have been popped.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure the NBA wants LeBron James to be tested for PED.
You don't think with as much hate as LeBron has got his entire career, he's been the most hated athlete of all time. You think from the league? You don't think anybody has dug into it to try to find something on LeBron?
There has been reports that come out and
it's like the Trump Epstein thing. You think that if they had this great shining thing that they could bust you on because they hate you so much. I think there's a lot of we talk about Trump derangement syndrome. I think there's LeBron derangement syndrome as well.
There has been literally people that have come out and said LeBron James has the same PED dealer as me. I have seen LeBron James pick up PEDs.
I've never seen that come to fruition anywhere.
Exactly, but
my opinion on it. I've always been a proponent. Let them all take steroids.
Yeah, absolutely. I could care less. I want to see the best athlete possible. But it's your body. The same token, yeah, I mean the longevity that he's had. Yeah, all of that. Again, whatever. Let's get into it. It is Black Friday, Jeffrey. We have one football game on the docket today. All eyeballs will be in Philadelphia as the Chicago Bears go into the Philadelphia.
Well, only if you have Amazon Prime Video.
Yes. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry. Again,
I thought every American had Amazon Prime to begin with.
Especially on Black Friday.
Yeah. So sign up for that 7-day trial. Whatever you got to do, it is going to be must-see TV, hopefully. Jeff, I'm going to let you start off on this real quick. I'm just going to throw it out there real quick. Do the Bears stand a chance today?
For sure. For sure they stand a chance. For the simple fact that I think they're better coached right now than the Philadelphia Eagles. I've never been a Sirianni guy. Now, this is going to be an interesting environment, right? You're running into Philly, coming off of a loss to the Cowboys, with all the commotion and everything that's circulating that team as well too, back at home on a Friday. It's a weird spot. I can't bet this game at all. I have no clue which side to take. I could see Philly stomping them out. I could see Chicago winning the game. So I don't
think there's an in between either.
I don't know. Like it's like betting a Jameis Winston game, right? This is like you have every possibility and scenario completely at play here. Which defense is going to show up for the Lions? Which offense is going to show up for the Philadelphia Eagles? Is it going to be the offense that we saw in the first half against the Dallas Cowboys? Or is it going to be the offense we saw in the second half against the Dallas Cowboys? Is the defense for Chicago going to play like they're playing Minnesota and J.J. McCarthy? Or are they going to play like they're playing, any other team that they play? honestly, throughout the year. So I just, there's so many variables and factors here. I have no clue what's going to happen whatsoever.
Well, I will say this. I think, again, what the Jesus, who did we play last week? Why can it? My goodness.
You guys played the Vikings, no? Or that was 2 weeks ago.
Who did we play this week, Jeremy? The Watches?
No, you played the Steelers last week.
The Steelers. What is this when it comes to Steelers? You know, what the Steelers did not do is they didn't utilize the middle of the field. TJ Edwards out still. Ruben Hippolyte out. Dominique Robinson out. Noah Sewell out. Tyreek Stevenson out. Now, with that also being said, Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, both questionable and off of the IR report. So it looks like they could. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, wrist injury. Okay. Now that makes sense. That's going to be my biggest issue with Saquon Barkley. To your point, if the Eagles can actually run the ball, then the Bears are going to be in trouble. Right. I think the secondary can lock up both Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. First of all, Jalen Hurts doesn't like to throw it in tight places. And the Bears' coverage is pretty good unless they're going to play a soft zone, which, again, I'm very nervous about the middle of the field. So if I'm Nick Sirianni, I'm targeting the run game up the middle. I'm targeting the passing game up the middle.
Dallas Goedert.
I don't think the sidelines are going to be there. Again, if Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson are both back, that plugs in the hole for Tyreek Stevenson. You still have Nahshon Wright, who's been playing absolutely monstrous. Again, though, that offensive line for Philadelphia has been very questionable so far. And it's definitely not the offensive line of the past. I do believe Lane Johnson is out. Landon Dickinson. No, he's back. He's full practice. No, Lane Johnson. Yeah, but Lane Johnson is out, so that is huge. I need to see a little bit of Dexter, and I need to see a little bit of Montez Sweat. I need to see, was it Austin? Is it Austin Booker? Austin Booker, the rookie. I need to see these guys get a little pressure, man. Because if we've seen anything, it's Jalen Hurts will always protect the ball first. He will always either A, throw it out of bounds, or he will not try to fit a ball into a tight window. I think that plays huge for the Chicago Bears. Now, on the other side, the offense. You got to get back to running the rock, man. And I know that defensive line's tough, but they've been gashed before. And to your point, same thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. If you're not going to keep them a little bit honest, you're going to have problem with the deep ball. And honestly, Caleb Williams' deep ball is not great. We could talk about, I think it's 56% completion rating. I could care less as long as he's winning football games. If you look at like the first 2 years, a lot of people didn't have a good completion rate. Peyton Manning, all of those. He has a better completion percentage than them. I think that this is a game where Luther Burden III has to get involved. I think we start to see DJ Moore sprinkle around. There's way too many weapons for the Chicago Bears team to not just dissect the secondary of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I will say again, the Philadelphia Eagles front line can be very daunting, man. And that is my only thing. So I would expect to see a lot of, as I hate them, wide receiver screens, halfback screens to try to keep that rush honest. Who sees a Vic Fangio, who knows the Chicago Bears very well, doesn't know necessarily Ben John's offense, but knows the tendencies of the Chicago Bears, will have some stuff dialed up. Of course, he's always going to want to beat his former team. It's going to be a good game, man. At least I hope it is. This is 2 8-3 records. Both teams, we're sitting 8-3 at the Chicago Bears, 8-3 with the Philadelphia Eagles, 1 game behind the Rams for the best record. And nobody in the NFL gives either one of these teams the respect of 8-3. The Chicago Bears are lucky. It's their schedule. They've done this, that, and the other. The Philadelphia Eagles, 8-3, but they've got no pass game. They have no identity. There's just no respect between either one of these teams. I think it's a statement game for both. I think if the Chicago Bears can somehow win this game, I think it takes the exact opposite trajectory as last year when we lost against the Commanders in the Hail Mary. The Hail Mary just completely decimated this team. If you go in and beat the Philadelphia Eagles, you are going to be flying so high into your divisional opponents. And I think that could actually launch this team into the stratosphere. Now, on the other hand, if you go in and lose, not the end of the world, but it's how you lose. If you go in and get completely curb stomped, I'm not saying it's going to have the exact same thing as the effect of the Washington Commanders, but if you go in there and get curb stomped, it's going to leave you very questioning a lot of things going into divisional play. I think this is an absolute monster game for both teams.
Yeah, two things I do like now that I'm kind of looking at some of the props on here as well too. DeAndre Swift, 10.5 receiving yards is the line. I think he's probably going to catch 3 or 4 balls, and I mean, if
it's got to be the dump off.
Yeah, it's got to be.
The only problem is that they've been using Monangai a lot, especially in passing plays. That would be the only concern. But as I'm talking to you, I'm putting that in right now. So.
And then the other one is, we mentioned the linebackers, right? For Chicago, I kind of like Goddard here a little bit as well too. 35.5 is his receiving prop. Over under, to me that seems like a pretty safe bet. I think the other thing is that if you look at every game that the Bears have played and the Eagles have played, pretty much have been close games. They're not like nobody's getting blown out on either side. So the 7 to me does seem like a lot of points that you're able to catch here as well on the Bears side. So that's kind of my view and where I would focus on.
It does seem like a lot, man. Though I just don't know as far as
You know what I worry about?
The game could get out of hand quickly, and then it could just become into a healthy mode, come out healthy. I don't. Yeah.
You know what I worry about too? I worry about, and I'm really sorry to put this in the air right now. I worry about Cairo Santos.
Yeah.
Whatever, Jeremy. You can say whatever you want. It's a factor in football. Okay. It is what it is. I worry about Cairo Santos outside. Kicking. I just don't know if he has the leg to do it in a windy, cold environment like Philadelphia.
You know where he plays, though, right?
I do understand he plays in Chicago, but if you look at
windier environment,
he hasn't been great outdoors. Let's be honest. Like inside, like in a dome, he's fine. You know what I mean? Like
where has he missed outdoors?
When you need him to hit a kick against, Las Vegas, in Las Vegas, it's okay. But I don't know. I just
when have you seen him outside that he's been not good?
I just don't think he has a strong enough leg.
Okay, well then just say that. It's not necessarily about being outdoors. It's about kicking into the wind and his leg strength, and I'll give you that.
Correct.
Especially with this low angle and the things. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. You know what I got to say to that? Then Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, don't give him don't make it his game.
Sure.
Just like we talked about Joe Montana. Score them tutties, baby.
It's just a thought process that I have. And if you are Ben Johnson and Caleb and you're looking at each other like, do we really want to roll Cairo out here for a 53-yarder in the wind?
Go for it on fourth.
Or are we going to go for it?
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like that has to come into play. And that's a factor that should be entered into whatever algorithm you're throwing in to spit out plays.
So as I'm looking over the player props here, Jeffrey, the highest total is 59.5 yards for any receiver in this game.
And I think that's A.J. Brown, right?
A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith is 56.5. Romo Jones 46.5.
A.J. is plus money on that as well, too.
Even.
From what I just saw. Yeah, even money.
Even money. So my question is this:
I feel like you're
these are really low totals, right, across the board. Everybody, the highest on the Bears is 46.5. Now you can say that, whatever. Luther Burden 33.5.
Yeah.
And DJ Moore 31.5. Also with Colston Loveland. Has Colston Loveland hit over 31 yards more than once or twice this entire season? I mean, holy moly! To me, though, this looks to be you got Saquon Barkley with 18.5 yards. Cole Kmet over 11.5 could also be a very juicy one. I do like that one as well. Zacchaeus. Over 4.5.
I think the problem is there's just too many weapons. There's too many guys. There's too many guys
Kyle
who run out there.
Monangai,
Like you're not
over
getting
2.5.
on. I would rather just take Swift and think that they're going to have a screen pass or two designed for him and he'll get 10.5 yards. And I'm going to think that Jalen Hurts, like you said, is going to be check down Jalen today. And you're just going to get a lot of Dallas Goedert over the middle.
I'm also taking Cole Kmet because Cole Kmet over 11.5 yards. I'm going to lock that one in right now. So I locked in DeAndre Swift, locked up Cole Kmet. Let's just be honest. Cole Kmet usually catches one pass a game and it's always for more than 10 yards. So it could be 11.
It could be 11 and you could be sitting there just anyway.
Yeah, good. We talked about the Ravens Bengals game about that being an under. this could turn into an under as well. You're going to have two teams that are both very nervous. Very, very important game for both of them. The over-under here is going to be 43.5.
Yeah.
But the Bears are averaging 30 points, so maybe even the over here. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The good thing is just Bears fans just breathe, relax.
I don't mind the under. There's some other unders that I like a little bit better this week.
Well, that's not on today, Jeffrey. And as we all like to do, we like to have degenerates every single day. But let's get into Sunday. Let's start off with Jeffrey's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Arizona Cardinals coming out, Jacoby Brissett and possibly Marvin Harrison Jr. back this week. Coming into Tampa Bay, no Baker, no problem, maybe. I don't think he's been ruled out yet. Bucs sitting at -3, Jeffrey, which we all know is basically a coin flip.
Who made this headline? Well, who's it a must win for? The Bucs or the Cardinals?
Well, I think the Bucs need to win this game. I think we all know who the headline is. Well, I think it does matter, Jeff. I mean, you can say this, but at the end of the day, do you really want to go into the next week being tied with the Carolina Panthers?
At the end of the day,
or the Atlanta Falcons being one game behind you?
I don't give a fuck. We play all of them. We still
correct.
Like when you're saying a must win, this is not like a must win to be able to like stay alive in the playoff hunt at all. You're going to get the 4 seed if you win the division. That's just what it is. You're not going to get a higher seed than that, right? It's not going to happen. It is what it is. So
you got to win the division.
They're going to win the division.
Okay, but I mean, we've seen crazier things happen in the NFL. I'm saying, I think you would feel better as a Bucs fan going into it being 7-5. And having that a 2-game lead over the Panthers.
I am a big proponent of benching Baker this week. It's a pain management thing. Let him feel better about himself. Let him get another full week without getting landed on by some random asshole lineman from the Arizona Cardinals who has nothing to play for. Throw Teddy Bridgewater out there. I don't know where you go with your backup from Bridgewater, so that'll be interesting to see what they do there. But, yeah, I mean, I think they'll be fine. Mike Evans is back at practice. Bucky Irving, full participant. We're starting to get as healthy as we have been throughout the entire year. Mike, I think, will be back probably in the next week or two. And so he'll be ready to go for that last little push. So
I'm going to need you to go ahead and text Joe, by the way, and tell him to insert Bucky Irving over Nick Chubb this week, please.
I'm not. That's collusion.
How is that collusion? I mean, there's no shot we're starting Nick Chubb projected for 5 points over Bucky Irving.
Guys, let me say something.
But he's going to also have a load management.
The Bucs are winning this game at home. Okay. Right. I understand the line is set at 3 the entire week. It's now moved down to 2.5. Some money came in on Arizona. I don't care. And that's just because people know that Baker's not playing. And that's going to be a reaction thing. But I think that the Bucs can do enough here and be good enough to win this game outright.
Jeff has faith in Teddy. Jeff has faith in Teddy.
We clipped it. I said Baker's going to get hurt. Teddy's going to come in at some point. And I also said Teddy probably leads them to a Super Bowl, and the story is, complete and so on and so forth, which we'll have to see what happens if that does come to fruition. But yeah, I think Teddy's going to be fine.
We'll see what happens. Let's keep it into the division. The Falcons headed to New York. Falcons favored here by 2.5. Michael Penix Jr. out for the year. Yeah. And Jeffrey, there's also rumors he could be out for the entire next season as well. Apparently, whatever he did it bad to the point where what is that?
I just think the problem is that he's had reconstructive knee surgery twice on both knees now. And so that's a tough one, in my opinion.
I guess that does make the Kyle Trask signing a little bit more relevant. When they're looking at long-term things. I don't know. What do you mean not relevant?
Kyle Trask signing as a third string quarterback should not be relevant on this show.
Well, how could it not be when they don't like Kirk Cousins? Your starter's out. You're already on the third string. So what do you mean? And you're talking about that pick not being there for the entire next season. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. You know who has their first round pick for the Falcons next year?
No, I don't know who they traded to.
The fucking Rams.
Oh,
The Rams
are going to have a top 5
pick. The Rams are going to have like a top 6 pick next year. It's absolutely asinine.
What did they trade for that?
I don't remember.
3-time. Can you see if you can find out that? I would love to know who they gave up a first round pick for a trade. It had to be somebody on the defense, maybe. I don't know. Jeff, the Jets here showing a little bit of life last week.
Sure.
Obviously,
and no Drake Taylor's London as well too. So we talked. You said Penix, but also no Drake London's huge as well. So
that is huge. So basically, you got Kirk Cousins, the statue out there, going against the Jets teams that's going to go after him, and you're going to be throwing at Kyle Pitts and Darnell Mooney all game. I would imagine that Bijan Robinson would be a big factor,
viable option that you should probably use.
But again, if I'm the Jets, I'm making Kirk Cousins beat me. All right. I mean,
sure.
If you lose to Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, and Darnell Mooney, I think that you can be like, whatever. But we all know that Bijan Robinson is just a huge threat. If he just runs all over you all day long, controls the clock, bleeds the clock, I think that you're gonna come out of that pretty upset.
Yeah, I think Breece Hall will be a factor here as well too. The Jets being at home. We'll see if Tyrod can move the ball at all. I just think that the Jets are going to be a hungry team, and how motivated is Atlanta going to be out in the freezing cold at MetLife at 1:00 with that blistery, bustling wind? I don't know. To me, this is just a Jets spot here.
The more that we continue to talk about it, and you talk about these dome teams going into outdoor stadiums, I just for who? Jameis Pierce Jr. Okay. Yeah. I just don't. Again, whatever. Here nor there. Jags headed into the Titans. Now, Jeffrey, I want you to keep in mind here as we continue through the program and we start talking about this Sunday, because I have a big issue here this week when it comes to survivor picks. So, yeah. So when I originally had this done, I had the New England Patriots in playing the New York Football Giants.
Okay, I actually don't like that at all.
Okay, well, this one. Let me get to this. So then, that was before Jameis Winston was playing. So obviously, I don't like it either. I know Jackson Dart still might come back. I still don't like it. So as we continue here, I need to start looking at some of these. And the Jaguars are a team that I have available that would be great to use a very questionable team against a questionable Tennessee Titans squad. But again, it's at home. It's one of those games, Jeff. Can I trust the Jacksonville Jaguars?
You're going to hate Trevor Lawrence so much after this week. I think it's the spot. I don't disagree with it at all. I think it's the spot. I think if you look at everything, unless you have the Rams,
I do not. But I also have the Dolphins, who are playing.
Do you have the Seahawks?
The Seahawks, I do not. I have the Bills.
Don't take the Bills.
So here's who I have that's left, I guess. I could take the Bears. I have the Jags. I have the Falcons.
Yeah.
I have the Panthers.
Okay.
I have the Saints and the Dolphins.
No.
I have the Cardinals. I have the 49ers against the Browns.
No.
I have the Browns available as well. I have the Texans versus the Colts. I have the Vikings. I have the Bills, I have the Raiders, and I have the Giants and the Patriots. So it's either Patriots or Jags.
I think the Dolphins are in there as well, too, in play.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dolphins. Yeah, Dolphins.
Dolphins are for sure in play.
Yeah, so let's focus on this Jags-Tennessee game, and as we go through, I'll highlight what is available here. We could go through there. Obviously, this is a spot that you would just think, okay, the Jags, they're rolling. This should be an easy win. But if you've watched football, if you've watched the NFL, just know that this is not it. And if Mike Vrabel was here, this would be a Mike Vrabel spot.
1,000%. It's a divisional game on the road, and you're almost a touchdown favorite. You want no part of it. You want no part of it. I understand, but I would rather, I guess, probably take the home team in Miami. I just feel like Miami's coming off of a bye. And you're talking about playing a Saints team that really doesn't have a lot to play for. And
Olave might be out as well.
Yeah, and
Kamara looks like he's going to be out.
the Dolphins have been playing really hard, and not only is Kamara out, but the backup, the Neal kid, who I know
tweaked his
you
ankle.
were upset, but he got tweaked in the game. This is I don't know. The more I look at it, the more I think it's a Dolphins play.
Yeah, so I do think the Jags get it done here in Tennessee. I don't think that they cover the 5.5. I feel like this is a field goal game. So yeah, I definitely don't want to sweat.
Cam has looked good in spots. Like when Cam has time to sit back there and throw the ball, he's an elite thrower of the football. He puts the ball in places that are absolutely incredible. And do they have something schemed up to get after this Jacksonville team? I haven't been a Jacksonville believer all year. I'm still not with the Trevor Lawrence shit. I think Liam Cohen is a dickhead, but he's a pretty good coach. So
old wounds coming back.
No, it's just it'll always be like that.
Situation.
Yeah, exactly. There's a way that you handle situations, and there's a way that you don't. And so I'll always have that opinion. It is what it is.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will, Jeffrey. Rams headed to Panthers. Rams here favored by 10. Jeffrey, is this one of those sneaky spots where the Carolina Panthers cover?
I mean, you would say that there's no way, right? Like the Rams are such a much better football team, but this Carolina. They've been weird in these spots. So, and 10 points is a lot, especially on the road. I just don't know a path that they get there. I'm saying the Rams being 10-point favorites on the road is a lot. I don't know how Carolina gets there in this game. The Rams check pretty much every box better than the Panthers do. But listen, it's football, NFL. Man. That's the NFL, and you line it up and strap it on. I won't be betting this game at all.
Did you say line it up and strap it on?
I did.
All right, moving on. Since we're talking about straps, we kind of preluded this Miami game, but the Miami Dolphins hosting the New Orleans Saints. Again, we talked about possibly no Chris Olave, no Alvin Kamara, and the backup for Kamara Neal looks like he has tweaked his ankle a little bit as well. I mean, but this is just one of those ones, man, that it looks like everything to me is saying take Miami, and these are the games that just don't come through fruition, man.
I think Miami wins this game. I don't know about the 5.5. I don't know if it's a touchdown. I can see that not happening, but
the Saints are so bad, dude. But so are the Dolphins.
But the Saints are really bad. They are. And the Dolphins, we mentioned we bet the Dolphins the past few weeks because they were playing hard and they're coming off a bye, right? So you have guys getting healthy. You have McDaniel with an entire week to scheme up against this terrible Saints defense. Absolutely.
I'm just looking at something real quick here to see. Yeah, so they beat the Commanders in OT. They're coming off back-to-back wins, actually. They beat the Bills, beat the Commanders. Now they have a bye week.
Yeah. The team hasn't quit, bro. They're still playing their butt off for McDaniel on this DC, and
we'll see. 49ers Browns, Jeffrey, 4.5 from the 49ers. This Browns defense is absolutely stepping up and becoming monsters. Myles Garrett, the best defensive player on the planet. Don't care who's up in Green Bay. It is him. It'll be him until I say otherwise. I think that this one, Brock Purdy, kind of channeling his inner Sam Darnold the last game.
Man, Sean Overman with the hottest of hot takes that he would rather have Brock Purdy to start a football team than Joe Burrow last night was just chef's
that kiss. Was enough for me to shut it off.
It's time to go to sleep, guys.
Come on. Brock Purdy over Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's not even a question. Brock Purdy looked terrible on Monday night against the Panthers. They got lucky to win that football game. Now you're heading into Cleveland, where the fan base that has been clamoring for Shedeur Sanders for the past however many weeks is going to be able to welcome their prince home. And one thing about Cleveland, no matter if they're good or bad, they're going to show up, right? And that they do have a certain home field thing that always is very endearing about them as well too. In the dog pound there, I like Cleveland in this spot. +4. I understand. I think the line is hung for you to like Cleveland. I think they're begging you to kind of take Cleveland here. But I'll bite and I'll take the 4.5 on Cleveland here.
We shall see. Texans headed to the Colts, Jeffrey. This is a big game.
Stepping into it, so that is.
Yeah. Well, if you go into it with the expectations that you're going to lose, then when you lose, it's a little less.
Breaking news from the 3-time here in our private chat?
No, it's not. It's just the same old shit that's been floating around. We'll find out tomorrow. Until then, we'll also talk about when we get to the college portion of it. Texans Colts, Jeff. This is a big game for the AFC South here. Texans, look, that defense is absolutely humming. Texans, I didn't also realize, had the 7th hardest strength of schedule going into it. Colts 28th. This is going to be something that where Daniel Jones comes out, he's got a fractured fibula that he's going to play through. I definitely did not like this matchup for Danny Dimes against this defense, but I also had the defense on fantasy, so it was like, why would I do that to myself anyway? Last game against the Chiefs, they really mitigated Daniel Jones's arm, the receivers, the whole 9 yards. I don't think it's going to get any better in this with this Texans secondary. I know that you have a little bit different. I think you're going to get back to more running of the rock, which I think you might be able to get some here with this Texas. But you drop back the pass, and somebody's going to be in your lap. Let's also not forget Will Anderson Jr., probably in the top 5 of defensive players in the NFL as well. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Indiana Jones. This is going to be Shane Steichen. Can you draw up something, scheme something, get that ball out of his hands fast, and can you establish the run game early?
Yeah, the only thing that I'll say about this is that you have Autry, Anderson, Hill, and Petrie all questionable to play in this game. So I'm not sure if they're all going to go or what. So we'll make sure to kind of keep that an eye on it, I guess you would say. I do think that this is going to be everybody who sees this game, right, sees this as, oh, this looks like a Texans spot. Right, CJ Stroud's probably back, so on and so forth. I just think the problem is that I think the Colts are just a better football team, and I think they're going to be able to move the ball between Jonathan Taylor. I think while you will have Stingley, who's going to take away your top option, the thing about that is that you can take away Michael Pittman Jr. and he's still going to be able to get the ball out there to Alec Pierce and to Josh Downs and to different players. Tyler Warren, I think, will be a factor who hasn't been a factor for a couple games now. I can see them getting back to that. And so I just think that's where they're going to lean if I'm the Indianapolis Colts.
Breaking news, the uninformed fan, Baker Mayfield. Coach Todd Bowles says Baker Mayfield looked good today and trending to start versus the Carolina Panthers. I feel like this is also one, to your point, Jeffrey, that this is one of the times that you have to protect your players from themselves and look to the bigger picture.
Yeah, and Baker's talked about it too.
I just don't. I mean, if he's feeling good, he's going to play. I mean, that's just the way it is. But we'll see what happens there. I agree with you. I think that the 3.5 might be a lot. If it comes down to 3, definitely I think 3 is the number that you would like to be at.
You don't feel like they're kind of begging for Texans money here at 3.5 though? It feels
all
like
the money's on Texans. I'm seeing 70% of the money's on Houston plus 3.5.
Right. But why is the line not moving then?
I think we all know the answer to that, Jeffrey.
You know what I mean? That's one of those things that you look like. If 70% of the money comes in and they respect the money, they're going to move the line. But if it's just regular public shit and Joe Schmo coming in and putting tickets on it, they're not going to care. So
that is a good point. Minnesota's headed to Seattle. Jack, any chance the Vikings can cover?
None.
Okay. JJ McCarthy off to one of the. They put a quarterback. I saw this thing the other day. They put 2 quarterback stats side by side through the first whatever. It was player A versus player B. Obviously, player A was JJ McCarthy. Everyone took player B. Any guess of who player B was? And let me also preface. Oh, you saw it. Okay.
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah. So you saw it. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
He's statistically worse than Jamarcus Russell was.
Yeah, it wasn't close. It was quite glaringly.
It's terrible. But
I feel bad for the kid. I do. I do feel bad for the kid.
Okay. I think this is an absolute beatdown by Seattle.
I think I'll take Seattle on my other survivor. Bills headed to the Steelers. Jeff, 3.5 Bills here. Steelers back against the walls. They got to start putting some wins together. I know this is going to be a big game for you in the AFC North standings. I mean, the Bills, it's just, I don't, which team, like you said earlier, which team are we getting? I think we know what we're getting with the Steelers. You're getting a middle of the road defense. And I guess, a middle of the road offense. There's really nothing that's going to layer you and jump out at you on either side of the football. The Bills can just go up and put up 48 points, or they can put up 5 points. I don't know. I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, this is like, listen, Bernard's out, Kincaid's still questionable, Deion Dawkins is out. I think it's going to be a long game for Josh, bro. I'm not going to lie. I think Tomlin coming off of a loss back at home. It's a great spot. The line was 3.5 to start. It's dropped down to 3 now, which is usually a pretty key number that the books don't want to move off of because they don't want that, open themselves up to that. So I really like Pittsburgh here. I think it's a spot. I think that one of the things that they're weak at in Pittsburgh is going to be their secondary, right? And so you worry about getting beat by the wide receivers. Well, their wide receivers are ass. they just went and signed Brandon Cooks as like a Hail Mary of like maybe Brandon Cooks can come in and bring some life to this receiving room because it's been terrible. And without Josh's security blanket and Dalton Kincaid, it's pretty much just been Khalil Shakir. I don't know what's going on right now with Keon. I hope things get better for him. I don't know why they've decided to just kind of neglect him and throw him by the wayside. You would think they would want to kind of, massage him and make him better. But I don't know. It's just it just feels all bad right now. It feels all bad in Buffalo. Vibes are down. I think the defensive line and that front seven is going to absolutely fucking eat against the Buffalo Bills and their banged up line.
Dalton Kincaid officially now questionable for Sunday. Yeah. So quite possibility coming back.
Is that Raiders, Dana White? That's a great assessment. Great assessment. He does have a little Dana White in him. And he would probably be okay with having Dana White in him.
Here we go. Raiders, Chargers, Jeffrey. Chip Kelly out as the Raiders OC. A lot of reports coming out saying that he was calling plays that weren't even in the playbook. How is that even possible, dude?
I don't know. I don't know how this guy is still living off of Oregon and fucking Philadelphia because I don't know.
It's really just Oregon, right? I mean,
I guess he was at Ohio State, right? He was at Ohio State last year as well as the OC. So I guess there is that. I don't know.
I think he'd be good. I think go back to college, be a OC in college. Obviously, the system and everything that he works just isn't translating to the NFL. But it obviously worked in college. It worked at Oregon. It worked over at, like you just said, Ohio State. So just go back to college, be an OC for college. He already got the bag.
Listen, I got to acknowledge this. I want to say thank you very much for calling Tyson handsome. It's been a while for him since that happened. And if you would like, make sure to check out the OnlyFans in the bio. Go ahead and click that link and make sure to like and subscribe.
We have a
what?
We have an OnlyFans?
Anyway, don't worry about it. Chargers, Raiders. I think Chargers here, 100%. They're gonna
8.5.
9.5. They'll win by 2 touchdowns. And I think coming off of a bye, Harbaugh is really, really good. And I think, too, now Marion Hampton's back practicing. The issue for the Raiders has been defense for much of the year as well, too. Not only just the offense is completely incompetent. Now we'll see if they get back to just pounding the football now with Greg Olsen as their OC. And also, we mentioned Bowers and Mayer on Wednesday, and I think that'll be a huge part of their offense as well, too, is hitting the tight end.
Last on the slate, Denver and the Washington Commanders, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Take on them.
Yeah, this has been the strangest. I have to do a little bit more research. I don't understand this line. It opened up at like 7.5. It's down to 5.
Is this the Jaden Daniels coming back factor, I'm assuming?
I don't know, but I feel like I've missed on something, and I have to now take the Commanders. And maybe it's people deciding to start to fade this Broncos team that we think has been punching above their weight class for a long time. I don't know. I can't put my finger on why, out of everything that we've seen from Washington, that people would be putting their hard-earned U.S. dollars on the Commanders. But
because the Commanders have not looked good. They have not looked good.
The music, by the way, in the background? Good.
I wish I could. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Like I said, I do believe that a lot of people don't give the Denver offense a lot of respect. Defense, obviously, everyone kind of respects around the league. And everybody's kind of waiting for Bo Nix to do Bo Nix things, right? To turn into JJ, to turn into the Sam Darnold of the past. And then with Jaden Daniels, obviously regression season as well. And, one thing that I have noticed, Jeff, and I noticed this before, but for whatever reason, this one is just really sticking out, especially with fantasy football. If a player has a breakout season or a really, really good season, the next year, it's never as good. Use caution when drafting wisely.
Also, one thing I do want to point on, 7 points right now is what the New York Giants are catching on Monday night in New England. I absolutely love it. I think it's going to be Jackson Dart. I think the problem for New England this game specifically is that your offensive line got really banged up. Will Campbell's out. He'll be back in a couple of weeks, right? They also lost. Who's the other kid they lost? Let me look real quick. They lost in the O-line. They lost 2 guys. And the problem is you're going against one of the best pass rushes in the entire NFL. When you have Brian Burns, when you have Abdul Carter, when you have Kayvon Thibodeau, when you have Dexter Lawrence, I think that they're pretty good. So Morgan Moses, questionable as well too, that you have. So I think it's going to be a tough game.
Has that defense actually done a lot pressure-wise?
Their secondary has been terrible. Absolutely.
No, I meant that front line.
Abhorrent.
We all came out.
They've been pretty good.
Are you sure?
Their defensive line. Brian Burns. Look at Brian Burns' sacks this year.
Defensive line rankings 2025 NFL. Defensive line rankings. Here we go. I don't need that. Yeah. I'm still scrolling here, Jeffrey. I'm still scrolling. Where are you at? Ranked 14th.
Who do they have as the number 1?
Cleveland Browns.
Number
Browns,
2?
Rams, Texans, Steelers, Lions, Seahawks, Packers, Eagles, Cowboys, Titans. Titans at 10.
Yeah, bro. I'm good.
This is PFF grade. So I
think PFF has jumped the shark a little bit. Anyway, I like their line going against some backups here for the New England Patriots. I think it could be a long day for Drake May.
Well, the Bears sitting at 31 feels right. We get pressure on nobody. Well, let's get into it. It is rivalry week here in college football. The hatred has begun, and now the atmosphere must turn. Florida State, Florida. The battle of the toilet bowl for the state of Florida. I'll tell you, this is the only way that either team can redeem their season at this point. If you want to even call a redemption, just beat Florida State. And I'm sure Jeffrey's going to have the same thing. That's just the only. This is the game. I don't care what the records is. They could both come in with 1 win. Each team hates each other at a just infinity level. They want to beat them. Even though the Florida State plays in the ACC and is never relevant, even when they go undefeated and can't get into the playoffs, an SEC school like a powerhouse that is Florida needs to make a mark, needs to put the stamp on it and plant the flag. Where's it at, Jeffrey? Where's it at?
I believe it's in Gainesville.
In Florida. So there will be no Florida State Seminole spear planted in the middle of the field. Defend your home. Yeah, that's right, because they planted the Florida flag in Florida State last year. That's what it was. Jeffrey, are we meeting up to watch this game? Oh, actually, we're not. I can't.
Brian Burns has 13 sacks. I work, unfortunately, on Saturday, and I'm actually doing a tasting menu while the game is happening. So, Brian Burns, 13 sacks. He is number 2 in the all the NFL.
That truffle dinner tasting.
Only 2. I don't know you shit.
Here we go.
I guess it's not really. I mean, I already won the record bet, right?
Which was wild. But that was only a unit. This is for a bar tab.
What is for a bar tab?
Florida versus Florida State.
When did we move those goalposts?
Put the headphones on. Put the headphones. This is the one I get to call in the 3-time, and I know that he's already on my side. The bullets are in the chamber. Let's bring in the 3-time to fire off a couple rounds. 3-time, take it over.
I have the betting slip right here in front of me. Florida versus FSU, Tyson versus Jeff. Straight up, tab, records, 1 unit on 9/2/25.
I can't see that. It's not zooming in properly. That's a lot of gibberish right there. I don't know. What else am I winning on right here?
Nothing.
There's a lot of other notes.
Bucks Bears record is a tab at Kitties, and then the more yards and TDs. Jeff has Amon St. Brown. Tyson has Jameson Williams.
That was just more yards for the season, right? Not touchdowns.
Yeah. I have TDs on here, so I wrote TDs.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think I just said he would have more yards. What was that one for? A unit?
Yes.
So I'm down. So I'm down $20,
like
but I'm up few bar tabs.
There's like some erasers that have been happening here on these. It's kind of crazy.
That is in pin, Jeffrey.
Eraser.
That's in pin.
That's whatever.
Yeah, so I'm down 2 units, so I'm down $20 there, and then up 2 bar tabs.
Don't
Love
cash. You're. Oh, I'm so glad that you're already cashing your Bears bet. Thank God.
I'm cashing them both. I'm cashing them both, Jeffrey.
The line's 1.5. Line's 1.5. I think now that they've announced that Mike Norvell is staying next year, that you're going to have a little bit of continuity in place going forward. I think this is going to be a hard-fought game for sure, but I do think that Florida State will come out victorious here because they owe Florida for last year, and Mike will play that shit over and over again
I will tell you this.
the big screen.
So let's just address the elephant in the room, which the 3-time has put in there in regards to Lane Kiffin. Yeah, I mean, the Florida Gators have moved, whatever. They haven't moved on from him. I know that he put in the private chat that we are now turning our attention to the guy from Tulane. At the end of the day, the announcement will be made Saturday. So that'll be a big question, Jeffrey. Is this made before the Florida State game? That's huge.
Can you imagine if like this gets announced at like, I don't know, whatever time it gets announced at. And then all of a sudden the clamoring in the stands is just not even focused on the game. It's just about who are you guys going to hire? The panic starts to set in. The uncertainty of what's going to happen starts to set in, and Gator Nation loses their shit.
Well, I tell you, it's very possible. But if they also announce it's going to be Lane Kiffin, that place is going to be absolutely electric. And the players are going to want to show up and show out to basically audition for their new coach. But to your point, if it's a swing and a miss, it could be like the air is completely let out of the stadium. I'm very curious about when this announcement is going to come. I didn't even think about that, honestly, until just now. It's not good. And you know what? Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, me and Jeff talked about this, and Gator fans, just let me tell you, I've been the one, I followed all the message boards, that was supposed to be announced last week, supposed to be this. Well, now it's LSU.
Reminds me of Bob Stoops in Florida State.
It reminds me of LeBron James in the decision. I mean, it literally is. You might as well just put it in a boys club, have somebody out there, then everybody can hate Lane Kiffin for what he does. I look at it this way, Florida fans. We've been down bad for quite a while, and things just have not worked out. Okay. Now we continue to hire lower level coaches that had success in different leagues and, expect them to come up. Missouri saw that we were potentially looking at him. They scooped up, they signed. How about this though, for existing coaches? All these existing coaches are getting extensions right now because all these teams are looking for quarterbacks. The only thing I'm going to say is the Lane Kiffin thing is not something that's new. Lane Kiffin has been linked to Florida, talked about Florida for years. There has been conversation before. I feel like there's just a little bit more of a reputation there. However, I definitely think LSU is probably the more lucrative job. They've been on top as of lately. They always get a great recruiting class. They have the deep pockets. I know Florida's come out and basically said they'll match anything. So at this point, I have no idea, dude. The only thing I'll say is Lane Kiffin has always had a thing for Florida, even when he was Tennessee, talking about how he's going to sing Rocky Top after they beat Florida. That was his disdain for not being hired at Florida, in my opinion. He loves Steve Spurrier. He modeled the visor after Steve Spurrier. He's modeled a lot of his career after Steve Spurrier. He can go work with Steve Spurrier in Florida. I think my heart says Lane Kiffin to Florida. but my head says he's probably going to LSU. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Gator fans, you got to just realize that we are just not the school that we once were.
It's a bad cycle.
It's terrible, man. It's absolutely terrible to just have big names that are floating around, and you don't even know if. I mean, there used to be a time when everybody wanted to be the Florida head coach, right? Like
there was one other thing that I heard too that I thought was crazy, which was they talked about that. And I forgot who mentioned this, but they were saying that it could be a situation where Kalen DeBauer, I guess, has like really strong ties to Penn State, and there's a theory.
Not the guy from Alabama.
Yeah. That came from Washington, Alabama. There's a theory that all of a sudden, if Alabama were to lose to Auburn this week and pretty much get knocked out of whatever it was, that they could see DeBauer leaving and going to Penn State, which would open up a crazy void because now you have Alabama open. And is Lane waiting on that shoe to kind of drop to see what's going to happen? Also, is Lane waiting on the NFL? You know, there's all these questions. Ole Miss said they're going to make their decision on Saturday with what to do with Lane. Lane never said he was making his decision on Saturday. So
I'll tell you this: you would have to be an idiot to want to go to Alabama.
Why? To follow Saban?
What can you do there?
Walk by his office and say hi every day.
I don't understand why Lane would leave Ole Miss.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay, you got a good recruiting class this time, and you put it together. But the power and the prestige of recruiting to an LSU or a Florida just dwarfs Ole Miss, and that's just, I think that's just the ability to be relevant moving forward. I think it is what it is, and they just got deeper pockets, so he can buy better players. That would be the only reason. I mean, to me, again, that's why the Florida job just seems a little bit more lucrative, is because Florida has not been good for a decade, and that LSU has been. So the expectation is to hit the LSU ground running. You're going to get 2 to 3 years in Florida. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get ran out like Billy Napier did in year 3 showing progress because you're the guy. I feel like it's just more stable over there. Whereas I think if, 3-4 years, if you're LSU, a la Brian Kelly, you haven't got it together, you're getting ran out of there again. And some of the numbers that are being thrown around are just absolutely asinine, man. Over $100 million for this guy.
Crazy. Go Noles on Saturday.
Go Gators, baby. Chew up them Indians. Georgia Tech. Last year, I do believe Georgia Tech played a little bit of a spoiler alert, 13.5 point spread here. I think Georgia comes out with revenge and stomps Georgia Tech. Jeff, I mean, is anybody from the ACC getting into the playoffs at this point?
Are you like asking me seriously?
That is a serious question.
Yeah. I think Miami should be in personally, but we'll see what happens. I think they play Pitt this week or something like that.
They do play Pitt.
So yeah, see what happens with that. But yeah, the ACC will have a team in. It was questionable a couple weeks ago, but they'll have a team in. Probably Virginia. We'll see. There's a lot of things at play as well too, where like Miami could still make the ACC championship game if like Virginia loses to Virginia Tech and Duke beats whoever they're playing, and there's a lot of moving parts. So I don't want to go through the scenarios, but a lot of good football today as well too. You do have Texas A&M, Texas that plays a little bit later. Obviously, you mentioned Georgia Tech, Georgia, that's going on at 3:30 today. Really good game as well. You already got the Egg Bowl going on right now. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, second quarter, 14-7 Ole Miss. They're up there.
Ole Miss scored right away. It was
well, let's get it on so we can go watch some football, Jeff. Texas A&M headed to Texas A&M 2.5. This is going to be a tough game. Ohio State, Michigan.
It's a small line.
That is a very small line. Well, I think after what happened on the first half of Texas A&M, I think that's why you're seeing it, right?
That's true.
I mean, going down 38-3 or whatever, coming back.
Also, Arch has been a lot better second half of the year as well too than he was.
Ohio State, Michigan. Ohio State has not beat Michigan in how many days, Davey Portnoy? I don't know.
Big noon.
I don't know about this one.
Tom Brady in the building, in the big house.
Aiden Hutchinson will be the guest picker on game day.
Yeah.
Well,
give me Michigan.
Oh, no, never mind.
Give me Michigan.
Michigan and the points or straight up?
No, just the points. They're not going to win, but I'll take them to cover.
Well, as I look at the college football, I see Tulane in there at 12, Miami at the 11.
Yeah, Miami plays a ranked team this week in Pittsburgh, so Pittsburgh's ranked 22nd.
Notre Dame at 9.
They have a chance for a quality win to get another one on their schedule. So
I don't know about you, Jeff, but when my team's not in it, I could give 2 shits. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I still respect the game and love it, but it does suck when your team's terrible. It's just the way it is.
And we look forward to it for months in the off season, right? When's football started? But I will say this: shout out to the Chicago Bears, because this is the longest I've been interested in NFL in quite some time. So shout out to Chicago Bears.
This is usually when I start to really focus in and hone in, because I know the Bucs are about to make a playoff push. So,
Jeff, did you see this story coming out of Ole Miss this morning about the fans that broke into the Ole Miss locker room and stole their starting quarterback's jersey at 3 a.m.? I told Tyson you had stepped away. Yeah, no. Lane Kiffin announced it today when they did his little interview that they have video footage of Mississippi State fans broke into the locker room and stole their stuff.
Respect. That's what rivalries are all about, bro. You know? I'm surprised they didn't let a goat loose in that locker room or some shit like that and really just try to absolutely just diabolically mess things up. I also want to give a shout out today too, right before we sign off. Big game tonight, NBA Cup going on. It's the 4th game of all the group play games that they have. Orlando Magic are playing the Detroit Pistons, who just got knocked off their 13-game winning streak by the Boston Celtics 2 nights ago. This is whoever wins this game wins the group. So it'll be a big game here in Orlando for the Magic.
I don't think the Bulls have won a cup game.
Bulls are much better this year, though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Vooch is playing really good. I dogged on Vooch for a couple of years now.
Brother,
this season, Vooch looks like he's back to the Vooch of old.
Anthony Davis returns tonight.
His leadership as well too, of calling guys out when guys need to be called out. Did you see too after the game the other night? They're interviewing Vooch, and it was Nolan Smith and somebody are behind him, and they're trying to hype Vooch up, and Vooch is looking at them can you? He's go to the locker room. Why are you celebrating right now? You've done nothing to deserve celebration. It's kind of a wild thing, but I love that. I love he's the vet, man, and I love that he's taking on a leadership role in this team and being vocal. It's something you never really saw from him. He's always been very soft-spoken and very, very meager and meek, and so it's kind of nice to see him embracing and stepping into that role when he's having such a great year.
NBA Cup standings here. I just brought it up. Yes, the Bulls are 1-2 and have been eliminated. Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us today on the Uninformed Fan. I hope everybody has a great weekend. If you do happen to be driving over the weekend, please stay out of the left-hand lane. Bear down, baby. Go Gators. Big weekend for your boys. Let's get it on. Peace.
Be great, FSU.